today we see already this head of Shin Bet, I forget his name, essentially, quote unquote, took responsibility for everything that happened. And this actually leads me to another thing. I told my friends, a friend of mine brought that up, and I said, dude, anytime you see anybody who's not that the head of the entire country take responsibility for something this horrible, that means that he's a fall guy. That means that he's a fall guy. That means that he was picked to throw a bone to the populace, and that's basically it. With that said, man, man, I literally I talk to some friends and I listen to people in this whole thing, and I literally you get the feeling that everybody is like a battered wife. It's like you tell them like, how come this thing was destroyed? The towers. How come drones were not there? How come planes didn't arrive? How
Don't tell
come?
me that. You don't know what it's like when we're alone together. He's wonderful.
Yeah, no. Let me just How come it took 6 hours for the anybody to arrive? I mean, they had some shayetet, like the Navy SEALs guys come, and they did actually a fantastic job, but there was only a few of them. But dude, I'm just listening to people. Well, everybody was off for Simchat Torah. I had one friend, Simchat Torah. Well, this one guy on Shabbat, he told me, because he also has friends over there. He goes, yeah, there were helicopters flying, but they had to, they had their ammunition. They used their ammunition. They had to fly back to the base. I'm like, what? They were sending one helicopter the entire time? We have one helicopter for the entire south of Israel. Then somebody else told me there was also, do you know how long it takes to mobilize planes? And it's like this whole thing and this and that and the other. Then somebody, it's just, I'm listening to this and I'm literally like, are you guys kidding me? And then even now, I have friends who are like, we're waiting for the operation to start, the ground operation, right? Well, it's, there is a horrible rainstorm there to the point where it's flooding in Israel, right? Well, it's raining. Well, they're gathering what is it called, the intelligence to so that they know exactly where they go, and then they're shoring up stuff that's going on in the north with Hezbollah, with Lebanon, and I'm just like, are you guys out of your mind? He's beating you. He is beating you. Your husband is beating you. Are you guys? I don't know, man. I'm at the point where I'm just kind of like, and like I'm just saying common sense things. I'm just literally asking questions. Now some guy wants to pass a law, propose the law. This so-called religious Zionist guy in the Knesset. I think he's part of Likud. Basically, if you ask any questions, essentially, you might go to jail. If you say stuff against the government that demoralizes the soldiers, you might go to jail. Even though 80% of the people in Israel, 80% say that something smells like shit, or they're just flat out blaming the government for this. Even if they're saying that it's a quote unquote intelligence failure, they're blaming the government. Yes, and it is at the very least, but it's not a failure. And even if it is a failure, like you said, people should be immediately removed, not investigate afterwards. Why would you want somebody who screwed up this badly to be at the helm of what needs to be done? Why wouldn't you get rid of those people? It's like, I don't know, dude. I can only liken this to like a hockey thing analogy. The guy, you have a shitty record for the first half of the season, and then you're just like, well, now you need to go like, I don't know, win 40 games and lose 0 to just make the playoffs, and you're like, well, we're gonna keep the same coach. No, you fire the guy immediately. Maybe you make some trades, whatever. I mean, dude, I'm trying to understand. I'm really trying to understand. It could be that they demoralized us, the people during COVID. Maybe the people so demoralizing before that. I don't know. And people and this whole thing of like, now's not the time. We'll investigate later. Now's not the time. They're not going to investigate later. They're not going to do anything. Nothing's going to happen unless we say something, unless we literally scream from mountaintops. These guys allowed this on purpose for whatever reasons. Somebody in there did. And that's it. And this is how we're going to handle this, because these guys are not going to handle this. They're not going to take back Gaza. We're not going to. No. Like I told my friend today, I'm like, dude, I wish you're right and I'm wrong. He's telling me, they're preparing and they're doing all the strategic stuff with Hezbollah so that they don't go in right away, and it's raining and it's this and it's that. And I'm just like, dude, you're trying to sell me a bridge in Brooklyn. I ain't buying it, man. They're trying to sell you one. You already bought it. Dude, I'm at the point where I'm just like, I don't know. No words. You have anything to say regarding this?
Yeah. I already got it from someone. I did an interview with Ann Vandersteel today. This is a person, nice lady who she got a preview of it, or she spoke to Ann, and told her, what I said. And she's like, "Is it a good time?" Because she has a kid in the Israeli military. She's like, "Is this is this helpful?" I said, "Why don't you just watch it first?" So I'm getting some flack from people, not bad people, nice people. Hopefully, we'll have this lady on one day.
Yeah.
And it is, kind of putting our heads in a chopping block.
Yeah.
To talk about this particular time, which is whatever. I'm not. I'm not asking for a medal. I haven't heard Greg ask for a medal. It's okay. I get it.
Yeah.
We're sitting here, for the time being, away from the front. Trust me, I'm conscious of that.
So tell me about these people, man. Tell me about what the hell.
So what you don't understand. What we're telling these people, they don't believe you because, or they don't want to believe you because even though it certainly looks that way, they don't understand a potential reason for it. You understand? People don't understand what the plot is. They're not going to believe that there's a plot. No. People need the plot to be relatable.
Nice and neat. Yeah.
I don't know if it's nice and neat, but something within the realm of what the average person could think of. I think the average person could think of, well, what's the motivation? Greed? Yeah, I guess everybody, we're all regular human beings experience greed on some level.
Yeah.
And then you could kind of think about like, well, if I grew up, in bad circumstances, I could see how greed, if I had, if you grew up in a criminal environment, you could see, you can kind of paint like, you can kind of find a way to get to see yourself as potentially being that kind of person.
Yeah.
You could think, well, power. Yeah, I guess power, people say power corrupts, and I'm going through the mental process of the average person. I guess power corrupts, and people, I remember that guy, security guard, in the bank parking lot, right? He was walking around like he was Napoleon, right? Like he had a little power, right? And even he was corrupted, right?
Yeah.
Like he had the power over the parking lot, and if he didn't like, he gave you a hard time because he was the parking lot king. Okay.
Yeah.
So for that day, so basically, you can kind of figure out that a regular person needs to try to attach themselves to something that's within them, and the motivations of the people who do stuff like this is truly beyond.
Yeah.
It's truly beyond the
average person's grasping it.
Yeah, like they don't even understand.
They can't even relate to it.
Because when we told them, about motivations of certain people, they're like, "What is that again? I don't even understand." Like, it's like when you hear about like a pedophile, you're like, "What do they do?" Like kids, I don't get. Like, This
Yeah.
kids, they can't even wipe their ass, you know, like
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, that's not sexy. Like, what is attractive about it? You can't wrap your, unless you're like one of these freaks,
Yeah.
you can't get it. You don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, just on a regular level, you know, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, like, can you imagine, like, let's say the cops who have to deal with pedos, like, you know,
Yeah.
like, and they're
Yeah.
normal guys, and they're like, I don't understand this. Like, what?
Yeah.